Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Taking another quick look here at AVAX, see what's going on. We're really close to that $18 range. We have a little bit of fair value gap left to fulfill here, so just keep in mind we may not be out of the woods yet. However, this is a really good trade setup based on local high being retested as a new low. So there's a decent chance Bitcoin maintains 79,000 or higher. This coin will also. It's funny how that works out. You pretty much have to preface every single altcoin analysis with, as long as Bitcoin doesn't do XYZ, we're fine. That's pretty much where we're at in the market right now, though, folks, with Trump tariffs. Yesterday, we got a 90-day pause on tariffs. So, that really kind of helped reconfigure the market. But today we pulled back because China tariffs back 140% or something crazy. So this is just a nonstop onslaught of just ridiculous trading, so just be mindful of that. But the important thing is that traditional trading may not be super as effective, but we've been able to maximize our benefit based on the simple fact that we're taking trades on manipulative patterns as well as key level supports and resistances. So kind of just one of those, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. But for the most part, you can trade well in this dynamic here if you're trading kind of like if you think about what a manipulative whale is going to trade like, right? It's kind of where it boils down to. Anyways, we took some nice progress from yesterday. Bitcoin 55% and Solana 32%. And once more, we caught that nice little $3.5 billion pump into the market yesterday from like a run from 77 to 83,000. Anyways, AVAX, take a look here. There is some local shorts at about $19. That makes perfect sense. That's the logical place to consider shorting. We talked about that being a resistance range between 19 and 20. We'll revisit that here today, but the simple way to understand it is that 17, the low to mid $17 range is essentially where we're consolidating right there at the previous high. That's generally a very positive sign. So once more, pending Bitcoin doesn't dump on us, I think we're in pretty good shape to see the price continue higher. We want to look at our short-term and macro descending trend lines too to see where we're at there. The general consensus is that we've broken most short-term descending trends for majority of coins, but the macro descending trend, the larger time frame trend, we're still underneath that. So we got to respect the fact that if you were to take a long with this coin, you better take profit and ensure you're not just trying to ride it out to $30 or $40. That's just ridiculous. That doesn't work anymore. I don't care what the Moon Boys are telling you. That is not a thing anymore, okay? All right, so taking a look here at open interest, we can see that we are heavy amount of support in the 1720 to 1750 range. That's that local high. It's a really common occurrence to see that. So that's a perfect accumulation zone between 1720 and 1750 if we see that price action. Now that's going to require Bitcoin to pull back a little bit more, and I don't think it's going to personally. What we got to recognize here locally around the 4-hour time frame, well, we can see $18 is that resistance range for us. So we blasted through that, pulled back down. We're probably what's going on right now is the market's trying to trap late shorts and make people scared of taking longs right now. With good reason, I get it, but we took some nice longs yesterday in profit. So far, our Bitcoin long at 79K is in profit, and I do personally think that a long in these support ranges makes sense. Right? There's invalidations that could occur, but for the most part, that's where we're at. Daily time frame is exuding some bearish behavior. Big surprise, folks. We haven't broken free from our descending trend line. This is a consistent trend that is running concurrent in a lot of ways with the 50 and 20-day SMA. So while it's just a line on the charts, it doesn't mean too much. It gives us an understanding that we're still moving down and establishing lower lows and lower highs. Okay, you can't expect that to change overnight. It's going to take some time. We need to build evasive volume, which we are starting to see here. If you look, we kind of have an over-exaggerated double bottom here, or essentially just a lower low. But for the most part, more accumulation in the $15 to $16 range. And then for the larger time frames, we kind of zoom out here. Ever since March 10th, roughly 30 days ago, the most amount of volume we're seeing is 1850. So if you take a long right now, you can presume 1850 is going to be a resistance. That's just kind of how it is right now. Okay, so those macro points of control. That's what that looks like there. 4-hour time frame is tremendously better than most other coins. We are over 50 in the RSI. Money flow index still remains high. We can see our SMA there is also below the price action or below the RSI. That's super awesome. So these are extremely favorable signs that you're not really seeing on many other coins right now. Same thing too with the 50-day SMA maintaining right there, adding confluence to that 1750 mark. So I think a consideration for a trade between $17 and $18 is a good call. In other words, averaging into your position in that range would be effective because once more, we can see at the low $17 mark, that fair value gap from yesterday's candle wick that could still get filled. So just know that's there. Otherwise, we're looking pretty strong here. Again, pending Bitcoin doesn't dump on us, I think AVAX has tremendous potential to continue higher to at least the $19 to $20 range. Because if you see here, there's a lot of volume in the $19.50 to $20 range. That's that resistance range for us. So if you're going to take a long right now, ensure you secure profits between now and $18.50 / $19. All right. It's just kind of it would be smart or advantageous to do that. Otherwise, I hope you learned something today. Thanks so much again for watching. I'll post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. It's available here if you're not familiar. It does look a little something like this. And we'll look forward to work with you if you want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tech is a site linked down below. Trading Academy, community, and signals group. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks again so much for your time. Take care.